Hey YouTube, it's Empirant, and today I want to take a look at something I'd been wondering about myself lately. How big of a difference does it make to drop a second lumber camp at the start of Feudal Age? A lot of build orders will mention doing this, usually telling you to take around 4 or so of your villagers from under your TC and moving them to build a new lumber camp soon after clicking up to Feudal Age. However, there are some build orders that instead recommend sending those same 4 villagers out to your existing lumber camp. This is the case in my favorite Man-at-Arms and Archers build. Now, the benefits of having 2 lumber camps may seem fairly obvious. Better villager efficiency for one, and the benefit of having a second spot to send your wood villagers in case one of your wood lines comes under attack. However, it's also an extra 100 wood that you wouldn't otherwise have to spend, and a bit of villager work time as you build the second lumber camp. So how long does it take for a second lumber camp to pay back its costs, and just how much are you giving up if you're not building a second lumber camp? Let's find out. Basically, the experiment I ran here was to do a normal 22 pop Feudal Age as if I were going for a Man-at-Arms build, and then saving the game right at the moment I clicked Feudal so that I could do the different configurations with the exact same setup every time. I also made sure that both wood lines were identical in placement to each other, both placed along a flat expanse of trees in order to ensure there weren't any odd results due to lumber camp placement. I initially tasked each villager to an ideal and efficient tree, but after this I let the villagers move on their own for the remainder of the test. I then checked how much wood I had after every 30-second interval, starting with our Feudal Age at around 10 minutes in-game, and going to the 23-minute mark in-game for 13 minutes total being tested. I stopped here because I felt like this was around when many players would be nearing or already in Castle Age. So, what did the results show? Well, not surprisingly, the 2 lumber camps did outperform our 1 lumber camp setup, but it took a bit longer than I would have expected for the second lumber camp to pay back its cost. As you can see on our line graph here, it took until the 20-minute and 30 seconds in-game mark, meaning that our second lumber camp didn't pay itself back for over 10 minutes after it was built. This basically means you're going to be in or very near Castle Age before this pays for itself, possibly already adding in town centers that can act as new lumber camps anyways. So is that it? A second lumber camp is only a slight help to wood count after more than 10 in-game minutes? Well, hold on, we did miss one very important thing in this example, and that's double bid axe. Since double bid axe increases the speed of our villagers' wood gather rate by 20%, but doesn't increase their walking speed, this should help out our 2 lumber camp setup more than our 1 lumber camp, since there should be less villager walk time with 2 lumber camps, and therefore more time actually chopping wood at the increased speed. So how does this play out? For starters, double bid axe pays back its 50 wood cost in as little as 2.5 minutes in-game, no matter the lumber camp setup. However, it pays back its 150 total resource cost in around 7.5 minutes for our double lumber camp setup, but takes on an extra minute to pay back itself if we go with only 1 lumber camp. This seems to add credence to our expectations that adding in double bid axe will help our second lumber camp pay itself back faster as well. So what does our chart say now for our 2 setups with double bid axe? As you can see, yes, our second lumber camp does pay itself back much faster now, only needing around 8 minutes in game to pay itself back, as opposed to needing 10 minutes and 30 seconds in game if we didn't get double bid axe. If we put all 4 tests on screen, you can see the different gather rates across the board. Easily the biggest takeaway from this is the importance of getting double bid axe right away upon hitting Feudal Age. This is pretty common advice in just about every build order I've seen before, and I can see why. In a 1 lumber camp setup, getting double bid axe helps give you an extra 235 wood after 13 minutes in game time, and an extra 292 wood with the 2 lumber camp setup. This can make a huge difference in game, basically giving you an extra 4 farms worth of wood or more. As for the 1 lumber camp versus 2 lumber camp question, I think the takeaway here is, as is often the case in Age of Empires, it depends. If you have some extra wood in your build as you're going up to Feudal Age, it certainly can't hurt to drop an extra lumber camp, which after about 13 in-game minutes from when you place it, will give you about an extra 100 wood, assuming you've gotten double bid axe. However, if you have a particularly tight build, and you need to decide between dropping a second lumber camp or delaying production buildings at the start of Feudal Age, it's probably better to stick to 1 lumber camp and get that ranger stable down instead. Remember, you can always put your villagers onto 1 lumber camp at first, and then transition to 2 lumber camps after a few minutes in Feudal Age. The number of villagers you're putting on wood can also be important to keep in mind. I used just 8 villagers total in this experiment, but it's important to remember that if you're going for a build that needs a lot of wood, such as certain archer builds, you may be using as many as 12 or more villagers on wood at the start of Feudal Age. This many villagers can exaggerate the issues caused by one lumber camp, with more bumping and longer walk distances slowing down the wood gather rate. So if you need to send 10 or more vills to wood on the way up to Feudal Age, I would recommend going with 2 lumber camps in most cases. All in all, if you're following a pre-made build order, this will probably already be figured out for you. But it is good to know that if you're using a build order that says to only go with 1 lumber camp, you at least aren't missing out on too many resources long term because of this. And that's the real reason I wanted to look at this, because I've been doing a lot of build orders lately that only use 1 lumber camp. That's it for me today though. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. It only takes 1 click and it really helps me out. Otherwise, thanks for watching guys, and I hope to see you all in the next video.